For cow-calf operations, you can decrease winter protein supplement. Different animals that benefit from this type of management: grassland birds, pollinators, small mammals, and even reptiles. So we have forage quality, we have stockpiled vegetation for drought, and we have wildlife habitat all within the same pasture using patch-burn grazing. My question for you is, can we increase forage quality for livestock, stockpile for drought, and increase wildlife habitat all in the same pasture? The answer is yes with patch-burn grazing. My name is Laura Goodman. I'm the Rangeland Extension Specialist at Oklahoma State University. Patch-burn grazing is a management strategy that integrates the prescribed fire management with your grazing management in your pasture. It's a strategy where we burn portions of the pasture and allow animals access to graze it immediately following the fire. It uses a term in grazing ecology called pyrrhic herbivory. Pyrrhic herbivory is the attraction that animals have to recently burned areas as plants start to regrow following fire. It's been documented on every continent except for Antarctica, and with every large grazing herbivore here in North America. With patch-burn grazing, we increase our forage quality by burning earlier in the year or later in the year to extend forage growth later in the fall and earlier in the spring. I'm standing here in one of our patch-burn grazing pastures. Animals have access to grazing year-long continuous in here, and we burned this patch that I'm standing in about a month and a half ago. And as you can see, our goats and our cows are grazing in here right now, and this is because of the forage quality that's so high. The area behind them that has the taller grass is actually an area that was burned more than a year ago. So animals have access to burned areas and unburned areas. And the burned areas have really high quality forage, which is really important for their performance, while the areas that have a longer time since fire have a lot of quantity of forage in them. And that allows us to set our stocking rates to normal stocking rates that we would set for this whole pasture. In this particular pasture, we've divided the pasture into 6 burn units. You definitely wouldn't have to go that high to accomplish a patch-burn grazing system, but in this pasture, we're actually trying to provide high quality forage for the longest proportion of the year. With 6 burn units, we can burn 2 burn units every year, one in February and one in August. The February burns helps our pastures green up a little bit earlier in the spring. Areas that we've done this, we've measured crude protein levels as high as 12 or 13% in early March after that burn as things start to regrow, with a TDN or total digestible nutrients of 60%. In the areas that we burn in August, it remains green longer into the fall, providing high quality vegetation all the way into the end of October, where we again measured crude protein levels as high as 11% and total digestible nutrients as high as 55% in the end of October. We know that these burns keep forage quality high when grazed for about 150 days after that burn. And so with 2 burns a year, we can maximize that forage quality for the longest proportion of the year. So we often get the question, is this type of management okay for our native grasses? And the answer is yes. Let me show you a couple here. So we definitely have some little blue stem growing back here in this clump. Over here we have some Indian grass. We have quite a bit of big blue stem, all regrowing after this fire. And you know, these plants are being grazed right now, and they're growing back just fine. So you might ask yourself, well, how does patch-burn grazing impact the livestock performance? Those increases in forage quality can have pretty dramatic impacts. For cow-calf operations, we've found that you can decrease winter protein supplement requirements without any decrease in cow reproductive performance, body condition scores on calves, or rebreeding. The cows that we had in these pastures were getting 3 months of winter protein supplement versus in our other pastures that we're receiving 5. In the pastures we didn't have any patch-burn grazing. Another thing that works really well is if you're grazing pastures with stockers. We know that prescribed fire in general is really good at improving forage quality and weight gains on those animals that are grazing burned off pastures. And when you do it with patch-burn grazing, we found that you can get a 40 to 60 pound increase over the summer grazing period. And so the benefit is that we can provide a burn every year within one of those patches in the pasture. When we burn off the whole pasture, we always have the chance that it might not rain much that year. And so we still have enough productivity, but we have that high quality vegetation in the recently burned patch. In grazing management, we set our stocking rate based on the productivity of our pastures, but that doesn't determine animal performance. The quality of the vegetation determines how well they gain weight. When we use patch burn grazing, we can try to do both of those things in the same pasture. In this patch behind me, this hasn't been burned for about 2.5 years, and this is basically our stockpile forage. So we measured productivity in our oldest burn patch after the drought of 2022. And what we found was that those patches had anywhere from 4,400 to 5,200 pounds per acre in a pasture that on an annual basis grows about 3,200 pounds per acre. So we had multiple years of stockpiled vegetation in our oldest burn patch. The benefit of this is that the next time we burn this patch, it'll be really easy to burn because we have enough fuel to do it. And the other benefit is that we don't have to hardly destock whenever we do go into a drought. These pastures have been in patch burn grazing since 1999. And in those 26 years, we've only had to destock pastures in 2011 and 2012, and that was just to remove one animal each year. So the last thing that patch burn grazing really provides us is structural diversity and plant species diversity. Both of these are really important for wildlife species. Some wildlife like bare ground and not very much thatch to run through. Other wildlife like a lot of tall grass with lots of thatch. And then there's some wildlife that want a little bit of all of it. When we have patch burn grazing, we can provide all of that within one pasture. There's now been 180 publications done on patch burn grazing management in the United States, and this has been done at over 100 different locations across the nation. Different animals that have been shown to benefit from this type of management are grassland birds, pollinators like bees and butterflies, small mammals, and even reptiles. When you add grazing to fire, you can increase the amount of time that vegetation stays short in the burned areas, and that allows a lot of other plant species to grow there while the grasses are regrowing. Many of our wildflowers grow back really quickly in our patch burn grazed areas and aren't as prevalent in some of our older burned areas where the grasses have really taken back over. For something like a quail or a prairie chicken that requires really thick tall grass for nesting, but then has to take their chicks to an area that has lots of broadleaf plants with insects to feed their chicks, patch burn grazing provides both of those types of habitat. So by burning in patches, we can rotate our animal grazing around our pasture as they follow the burns. And this really provides high quality forage, but it also allows us to stockpile forage in our older burns. We also can provide really great wildlife habitat. So we have forage quality, we have stockpiled vegetation for drought, and we have wildlife habitat all within the same pasture using patch burn grazing.